This is so much better of a setup for you. Sorry, I'm just like,
Yeah, well, the lighting is better. I mean,
the lighting's good. Your shirt matches very nicely.
it does. It's popping here. It's popping.
Yeah, it's great. What color are your eyes? Are they blue too?
I don't know. No, they're green, I think.
You don't know what color your eyes
Hey there, adventurers. Welcome to the Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kayla. And this week we're getting, I guess you could say, close to home. Right? I mean, kind of, I guess.
A little sweeter,
Yeah.
right? And it is for you
A little sweeter.
now that you're in the metropolitan Philly area, right? You literally
Yeah.
live in the.
I'm in Philly. There's no
Yeah, you live in
metropolitan area.
No, I'm in the greater Philadelphia area.
Right.
So you had your very first experience at the sweetest place on earth.
I did.
Which is?
Hersheypark.
Yep. Out there in Lancaster. Lancaster. Yeah, people say Lancaster. No, it's Lancaster. That's so Lancaster, and you got to see some Amish folks, right?
Oh my God, yeah, we did. That was interesting. They won't hear this podcast, so I can say whatever I wanted to.
Yeah, right. They're not gonna. They're not gonna listen to it, but love going out there. So for everybody, geographically, about an hour and 45 minutes ish. Maybe from where you were, closer to 2 hours, but
I think it was about 2.
Yeah, we'll say 2 hours from Center City, Philadelphia. A little less if you're in the burbs, to Hersheypark, right? So, but that whole Lancaster area, I've grown up doing day trips out to, and really taking full advantage of the food that's available from, and just all the experiences. A lot less city focused, a lot more farmland, right?
Oh yes.
So, where did you stay? You stayed not at one of their hotels.
We stayed at an Airbnb that was around the corner.
All right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and it's so that everybody understands what it is. It's a theme park, first and foremost, and then in addition to that, they have their chocolate factory. They don't currently. It's fake.
Yeah, it didn't seem real.
Yeah, they do not currently operate any real production in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I mean, it is the name of the town as well. But that scent of chocolate.
It was that fake factory. So if you've never been, there's a giant store with like a huge food court and a free ride that is the factory tour. And then there's a whole ass theme park. That factory tour ride was so ridiculous because it's like if Spaceship Earth was chocolate themed.
Yes, and with the singing cows.
The cows were the best part, if we're being honest.
No, false. The best part is
the free chocolate at the very end.
Yes, the free piece. Yeah. What did you get?
I think it was just a piece of milk chocolate.
Okay. I've gotten different kinds throughout. In that location, though, because it's free and anybody can go into that, it is always a little bit busier. So if you're actually planning a day trip there, that's just something to think about. But there are other things you can do in there. There's like different taste testing things you can pay for. We've done the make your own chocolate bar, which is fun because you can select what things you want to put in. And then you walk through, you get dressed, like you wear like a hair shower cap. You put on like you're in the lab,
full on hazmat almost.
Yeah, it's fun. And then you watch it like made as it goes down the factory line. So those things are additional pay for options that are there. And then you hit up the theme park. So I guess what was your first take?
I thought that it seemed really cool because we came into town. So one thing that my mom's a teacher, and we didn't really know anything about what we were going to Hershey. And we had no idea about the school that is funded by all of these things and like how cool that is. So the way we came into Hershey was driving through the campus. So this school, I'm I don't know how much you know about it, Chris,
the
but I'm
Milton,
going to get all these things wrong if I say.
no, go ahead. I'll correct you. The Milton Hershey School
Yeah,
for boys. Yeah,
yeah, for boys,
mhm,
or it was for boys.
yeah,
I don't know if it still is. But it's basically for underprivileged youth. They get nominated to come to this school, is my understanding. Like you can sort of like select a child to send to this school, and they're boarded there. Like
mhm,
they're boarded there. They have. I was like looking at job openings, and I was like, they've got dentists, they've got a hair salon, like anything that your child might need they have. And it was really cool, especially to see it like sitting up on the hill above the park and above the concert venue that we were at. And it was really awe-inspiring, I guess, to just see that like this isn't just some shitty theme park in the middle of nowhere.
right.
Like there's a solid mission behind it. And you think like Hershey and you're like, oh yeah, the candy that's garbage and like nobody really likes, whatever. Your face. Okay, no. Any other, I don't like chocolate. Any other chocolate company that's not in the United States is far superior to U.S. chocolate.
No, I don't know.
That's my hot take.
I don't know. I think we could fight about that. I don't know how I feel about that because I've had chocolate from other countries and it's not, they use like half the amount of sugar. So it, to me, doesn't
Yeah.
taste as good because I want.
When you get back from your trip next month or the end of this month, let me know if you still feel that way after having European chocolate in Europe.
All right, all right, all right. Yeah, right. I mean, they really have the Hershey family really starting and kind of developing that whole town and what it is.
Yeah.
So you talked about the theme parks, which is your typical theme park, but I will say on a like local type theme park, definitely on the level of Disney cleanliness. They really
Oh yeah.
upkeep the park super nice. I mean, in the Philly area alone, you can day trip to a Six Flags in New Jersey, Doherty Park, or Hershey Park, and Hershey Park by far is superior in your day, the guest experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
It is a long drive though. Like that is you said to me before we left, I said, is there anywhere to stop on the way at a halfway point? And you laughed at me and you were like, no, just like stop when you get there. There's nothing on the turnpike. And I was like, whatever. Okay, we'll probably find something. No, there was nothing until we finally got off and like started going to like side roads to get into Hershey. And then we stopped at a little like farmer's market or farmer's stand. Got some local honey.
yeah, but there's really nothing else there.
Yeah, there's really nothing.
The two things, well, there's really three places to stay that are associated with Hershey, though, which you didn't get to experience. So I'll talk. I've never stayed at the campground, right? Because that's really,
There's a campground? I didn't even
yeah,
know.
that's really never going to be me. But there is a campground. There is the Hershey Lodge, which is fun, and they have an indoor water park. So if you're looking to travel there with your family, and with kids and all, or you're going in the winter, it adds a nice little layer of something to do because they do. I think we were talking about this the other day. One of the theme parks you used to live near did a winter, and they do Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Christmas at Hershey. That's the song that they.
Cute.
But they do like a drive-through light thing and everything. So they do stay open through December for weekends. I think it is, and if you go and stay there, the Hershey Lodge is a great option. A lot of times conferences are there because it is a very large hotel. I'd say moderate level-ish. And when you do stay at any one of these three locations, you do get, I think, early park entrance.
Yeah.
So that would be the advantage to staying. And then they have shuttles to and from the park, so you don't have to pay to park if you're staying at one of those hotels. And then my favorite is the Hershey Hotel, which is a resort.
That's the bougie place.
Yeah, it's a resort type. I mean, it feels very grand. Since we talk a lot Disney, it feels very Grand Floridian-esque. It's not quite to that level, but there's like a Lilly Pulitzer store in there.
Of course there is.
Feel right. But probably the most popular thing of that is the spa, because you can get like chocolate mud baths and chocolate facials and
the chocolate spa. Yeah, that all sounds awful.
Lick your face. Inappropriate.
So, fun fact: Jasmine, who was on an episode with us about Run Disney a few months ago, she's actually from the area and used to work at one of the hotels.
Interesting. That is a fun fact.
I knew she was from Pennsylvania, but she and I were talking about my going to Hershey, and she was like, "Oh my God, yeah." Because one of the reasons that we went was specifically to go see a concert, and she was telling me about how like she saw NSYNC and Britney Spears, like in the '90s. She was at this venue seeing these artists when they first started touring, and I just think that's really cool.
Well, and you mentioned going to a concert. What concert did you go to?
We went and saw New Kids on the
Oh
Block
boy.
with Paula Abdul and DJ Jazzy Jeff.
What the hell? But right next to the parking lot, and really right next to the theme park,
Literally. Yeah.
is the arena, right? And they do get a fair amount of like.
They had Pitbull last week.
Yeah, I mean they have some pretty high named people.
Justin Timberlake was there recently.
Yeah, I mean
those are the ones I've heard about.
So it's not nothing, right? It's not nothing,
Yeah.
and there's really no real reason for anyone to travel to. So that's why it's always. But when you mention Hershey, people are like, I want to get there. I want to go there. You know, you want to experience the different things, and obviously people love chocolate. So there is. You did not get to. You stayed in an Airbnb, but there are the Hershey Lodge and the Hershey Hotel may, if you're looking to go there, might put you the cost wise a little bit above budget. And a lot of times the Hershey Hotel might have like a 2-night minimum. And we're looking probably like $500+ a night type price.
Yeah, I think it was like $450 for a night when we were looking. That was like the starting for either of them.
Yeah. So you're looking up there, but there are tons of, your standard Marriott type, like Hilton's, that you can get much cheaper. That might include breakfast, and then you paid $179 for the night. You get breakfast in the morning and done. So if you're looking for something like that, and there's tons of other things to do in the area. So we'll talk a little bit about that. You can actually buy, if you have little kids, Dutch Wonderland is about 20 minutes away. It's another theme park. It's much smaller, and it's geared towards, I'd say, 10 and younger. And they have a little water park in there as well. So you can sort of hit both of them. But you went right outside of Hershey. I mean, there's not just the theme park and there's the outlets, right? If you're into shopping, they're there.
They're fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And
if you're used to like premium outlets, and if like premium outlets are a bar,
right?
Bar none. They were fine. My mom spent like an hour and a half wandering around while Brian and I went to the brewery. So
there you go. Which brewery did you go to?
The big, huge one that's right next to the outlets, whose name I cannot remember.
So it was Trogs.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing that quick research.
I blinked too. I was like, yeah, Trogs.
Yeah, it was fine. It was just like a very large restaurant.
It was a classic brewery.
And seating. Yeah. Well, you say classic brewery, but there were so many children. I thought I was going to be getting away from them going there. I was mistaken.
No, not there. I don't know how many locals there are. That's the thing. And like, there aren't many places like that.
It's a small town.
It is a small town.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if did you get to experience the Hershey Gardens?
No.
So there are beautiful botanical gardens up by the Hershey Hotel that are often included with your ticket, or if you stay at one of the hotels, that are definitely worth spending a morning walking around. I mean, they're beautiful, and there's more history to it from Milton Hershey, I think, like developing it and gifting it to his wife, possibly. I could be very wrong there.
Oh, cute.
But there's definitely history there if you're into that. So a lot to do. And of course, theme parks, we talk about them a lot. What was your favorite ride?
Full disclosure, we got to the park. We drove in the morning, got to the park, went to the big store and did like the free ride first. As we walked out, it started pouring down rain. And when I say pouring, like, it was a torrential downpour. we like scanned into the park and then we stood for probably an hour underneath the awning just waiting for the rain to let up. So by the time, and we had a concert to go to that night. So by the time we were able to like actually go on rides because everything shut down because almost everything's outside. Um, it was, I want to say like 3 or 4. So we were the very first ones online for Candemonium, which was great. That's one of the newest rides, I believe, and it's right at the very, very front of the park. Like you can't miss it. First thing when you walk in, I had no idea what I was in for. I hadn't really looked at the ride track. I don't like going upside down on rides, and so I was afraid I was going to go upside down. It didn't go upside down. The seats were still wet from the torrential downpour, which was unfortunate. But that was awesome. And then my mom went, I'm done. I'm gonna sit the next one out. And we went, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a bright yellow roller coaster. And like it's 4 across and the inside 2 are on the like track, like you're covered. And the outside 2, their feet are just dangling in the air. So we ended up walking onto that. And those 2 were probably my favorite too. I don't know which one I liked more. She don't mind the cat. She wants to play.
She gonna open that door? She's like, what's in there?
Yeah, her toys are behind that door. Yeah. So I think that I'd have to say that, yeah, Candemonium, and I want to say it's like Sky something. I really
Yeah.
I should have done it like
No, it's a good mix of new thrilling roller coasters like you're talking about. Then they have the old school wooden ones that are a little rough, but and then inside included in your is a whole like small water park inside of
and Park. A zoo
and access to the zoo, which is like a pretty lame small little zoo, but it's lame if you were just going to the zoo. But if it's like if you're like we want to kill the next 30 minutes, we don't want to wait in a line, it's a nice little pivot to fill your day.
We went to the zoo while we were waiting for the rides to reopen. Like the rain had let up enough, but they still weren't reopening, and decided to walk through the zoo. It was I thought it was really cute because it's specifically animals that are native to the United States, or I guess it's called Zoo America.
Zoo America.
Literally in America. It was fun, except for there were like bald eagles that were like sopping wet and they just looked so angry. Like they were like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Sucks.
Why am I? And they had like misters blowing on them too because it was so hot out. And you could tell that they were like, this is actually, I'm miserable and I hate this. But they seemed well taken care of, which I thought was great.
Yeah. So overall, you would go back.
Oh yeah. I feel like we didn't get enough time to like see, like we didn't go to the water park at all. We just walked past it. We didn't go on all of the rides. We just hit like the big ones that we could get on quickly. But yeah, I would for sure go back.
They do. So if you're looking to go and you're to just go, they do have a option of like an express pass. I don't know exactly what they call it, but it is pricey. I think I've spent $170-ish a person. Well, the issue
it was like $300 a person when we were.
I think because it is dynamic in pricing, so you can buy it in advance and then it's fine. But I've gone with my kids, and then you're 10 minutes. It's the classic what we talked about. Like you're like, I'm not going to spend that, and then you get there and you're like, the fuck, I'm waiting in this line. Let's go. I mean, were the lines ridiculous?
So no, because we did right after the storm. So everybody had left. Like we watched people like completely drenched leaving the park. And we were like, we're not going out in this rain if we don't have to. We'll stay here till we die if that's what we have to do. So after the storm, it cleared out. And then funny enough, while we're at the concert, it was raining again. And we're like sitting in the bleachers completely uncovered with it raining on us. That was fun. But then the rides shut down again because Brian didn't go to the concert. So he was hanging out and he was like, I was going to go on some coasters, but they all shut down again. And then the next morning we went first thing. We were there, not exactly at park opening, but right after. And I think the longest line we waited in was maybe 15 minutes, but we left by, I think, noon. So we went to the Chocolatier before we left. Like, we very intentionally made reservations at the Chocolatier, which is the big sit down restaurant at the very front of the park, that you don't need a park admission to go to. It's like there's a gift shop, and upstairs from the gift shop is the Chocolatier. And you can get into the park from that gift shop, but that gift shop is also the way out of the park. So it was fantastic. Also, we really enjoyed it.
I want a milkshake from the food court in by the Chocolatier.
Yeah. It was really good food. Like, I don't like chocolate, but we got they have like a Ferris wheel of appetizers, and they have like a chocolate barbecue sauce on some like boneless chicken wings, and it was really good.
It sounds gross, right? And they have like, but you're like, what? And then there's chocolate dust. I mean, everything's got a little bit of some kind of chocolate, but it's well done.
Yeah. It's like toothsomes at Universal.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that does it for Hershey, but we think you should just go. I mean, you could wrap it into a trip to Philly.
Wrap it.
A trip to New York or Baltimore. It's really not far from any of those major cities. Or you can continue across the state and head over to Pittsburgh, another 3.5 hours probably from the Hershey area. So lots of options to explore Hersheypark.
If you haven't been, I definitely think you should check it out. I don't know that I'd say it's worth like making it, unless you're a theme park enthusiast. I don't think I'd say make a trip to Pennsylvania specifically to go to Hersheypark. But if you're already in the area, adding on a day or two is definitely the way to go.
And you can give us a call. Maybe we'll drive out and meet you.
Hell yeah. That would be a great excuse. Also, like, honestly, look at concerts. Like, I know we've talked about it. If you're wanting to travel for a concert, we got $25 seats for New Kids on the Block, and they were not bad seats. So until next time, let's just go.